Okay. Hangouts on air is live. There we go. Okay. Hey, look. The Geocaching Podcast is live. Okay. Okay. Audio is running. We should be okay. Chad, you all set?
Yep.
Okay. Then. Here we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. Go, 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 geocache, geocache. If you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It is Tuesday night again. It's 8:30 p.m., which means that it is once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Burks. We have Shorty and It's manning the phones. And please welcome to my virtual left, my co-host, Chaz427.
Howdy, y'all. Do you know how to survive a mega? If not, then we've got just the show for you.
That's right, Chad, because tonight's episode is episode 572, recorded live on July 16th, 2019, and it's the Mega Survival Guide. Phone lines are open. Give us a call, 808-468-7924. That is 808-GOT-SWAG. So, yeah, Chad, once again, we have a Tuesday night show, guys. We apologize. But, yeah, it's while our 5 kids are done with house.
No, we only have 3 kids.
3 kids are done with
Please
house.
don't give us more kids than we have.
Sorry, 3 kids, 5 kids. We have 3 kids done with house. We still have 2 kids in travel baseball, and travel baseball is in playoffs this week, so it's kind of crazy. So Toby just had a game tonight. We literally just came from, and he won. And Shane and Toby have a playoff game tomorrow night. So it's crazy. So they both have playoff games tomorrow. So yeah, so this is it. This should be the last Tuesday show. This should be it. But I don't know. I don't hate Tuesdays. That's the funny thing. I don't mind Tuesday nights. So we usually don't do much on Tuesdays. So Chad, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yourself?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, I'm almost done with baseball. So as much as I love baseball, I won 2 championships this year. I'm getting ready for it to end and be bored again. Jesse and I haven't been bored in months. So
That means I have to actually cook dinner.
I know. Nice to be bored for a change. Not have somewhere to run, So
Get out and do more caching.
absolutely. Oh my God, yes. Oh,
Definitely.
We're going to the Mega next week. We're going to Midwest Geobash next week. So looking forward to that.
That's good.
Yeah. So Chad, let's talk Patreon real quick.
Okay.
Guys, it costs a lot of money to make this podcast work. Part of that is your help would be fantastic. One of the great things about being a Patreon member, which is patreon.com, Patreon, is that it's a paywall, and on the other side there's a ton of goodies. There's audio, video, just a bunch of stuff. So much video, so much audio. It's a great little place. It's the Inner Circle. It's a place where only special people get to go. We've got 50 plus subscribers. We just got a new one, Chad. We just got a gold star one. I love the gold star. Let me get that louder. I love the gold star patrons. We got Little Hiker Joe, 1973, out of Prospect, Ohio, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Prospect, Ohio, Chad. Ever been there?
I actually have. I had a former, my dad's second wife's cousin.
Your dad's get that guy. Your dad's second wife's
cousin
is
lived
from Prospect,
there.
Ohio?
Yeah, and so I've been there once.
Really? Is it a tiny little town? Big town, Chad? How is it?
It's not that big.
No? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Little Hiker Joe is there, and thank you so much, sir, for becoming a Gold Star patron. Enjoy the Inner Circle. Enjoy everything that's on the other side. We appreciate it very much. Guys, if you want to join the Inner Circle and have see the fruits of all of our loins that we've been doing for the past 10 months, you can join us, patreon.com. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast.
All right. Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more information at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
It's also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Right in the Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who would rather go caching than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, instant tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tells, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com. That's ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Begone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray. All are great choices for outdoor enthusiasts like us, geocachers. At Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And finally, by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And as always, you can find links to our sponsors in all of our show notes. Chad.
Yes, sir.
So tonight we are smack dab in the middle of literally in the middle of July, which means we are smack dab in the middle of Chad.
Mega month.
Mega month. And that means tonight's episode is the Mega Survival Guide. You know, Chad, a lot of people have never been to a Mega. I know it's shocking to think.
Yeah.
But you know, it's quite. I mean, I went with Jessie the first time. I remember taking Jessie to her first Mega, and Jessie's, as she's stated many times on this show, she's pretty much an introvert. Jessie, do you agree with me on that?
I am definitely an introvert.
And so Jessie going to a Mega can be pretty overwhelming. You know,
Well, you know, the guy that got me into geocaching has somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,000 to 8,000 finds now. He's never even been to a regular event.
Mhm.
no way, really.
Really.
Is it because he's got a fear of it, or just because he just doesn't go?
I asked him about it once, and he told me, you know, he just really doesn't want to socialize in that manner.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, you know, it's just that's his way, you know.
Mhm.
If he knows you and likes to communicate, that's fine. But if he doesn't know you, he's not the type of person that's going to come and talk to you.
Right.
Yeah.
He's an MYOB, like kind of like he minds his own business and stay out of his way, kind of a thing.
The person
Mhm.
who got me into geocaching is the same way. That has found, you know, a few thousand and has not hidden any, and has maybe been to one event, if that.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, you know, mega events are large, very complex, very a lot of things, a lot of moving parts to them.
Mhm.
There's often, you know, thousands of attendees, you know, multiple activities, could have multiple locations. It could be quite daunting to a new cacher, even an experienced cacher who's never been to one before. I remember going to my first one. It was very overwhelming, is what it
Mhm.
was. It's very
Mhm.
overwhelming. So we thought, hey, let's you know try and get some pro tips out there to help you guys who've never been to one before, or or if you're going to go to one this summer or in the fall here, tips to get the most out of your mega experience. And so I figured we could all take these one by one here. The buttons here. So for example, well, let's start with the pre-mega. Before you go to the mega, okay.
Uh-huh.
And we could also, guys, don't just follow off of this. You have something to add, feel free. Any of your callers, you guys got something to add to this or your experience with the mega, I'd love to hear you. 808-468-7924. Love to hear your story or anything you have that would help somebody who's never been to a mega before, or even if you've been to a mega before, tips you have that you think would help somebody else. We'd love to hear it. First of all, let's start with what to bring. What do you bring to a mega? is one of the things that's often asked. I have on my list here, a small list here: a caching bag, swag, trackables and/or path tags, money, obviously, a pen or pens, extra logs, extra clothes and shoes, a GPSR if you need one, an external battery for your phone,
Mm-hmm.
water, snacks, and definitely your sense of adventure.
Okay, I'm gonna add a couple of things here.
Sure, go ahead.
One of Jesse's favorite things is the anti-chafing stuff. So I need it too. So I think everyone can use that, and also sunscreen.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Sunscreen, not on the list. Yes. I
And
want
bug spray.
and
Bug spray.
yes. I also want to start this as well by saying a lot of inspiration for tonight's podcast went to a bunch of different blogs, which we borrowed from. One is Dave the Bearmaker. One is our beautiful Shorty Knits. Her blog had one as well. And the Geocaching Junkie. So we appreciate them very much and talked to them before the show, and they gave us our blessing to use some of their ideas. So thanks to them for this idea. So Jesse, anything else to add for that on what to bring?
N- no, I think you've covered it all. I'll think of something later.
Of course you will. All right, Jesse. Why
And,
don't you
and like you usually think of something while you're there. It's like, damn, I should have brought this.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to put tots in there.
Tots? Yeah, okay. I'll tell you that one. Yeah.
Part of your caching bag, I guess.
Yes. Jesse, why don't you take the next one?
Be informed. So some mega events are basically gigantic get-togethers, and others have themes or are based around contests. So depending on the theme or even the location, your expectations and preparations will be different. So make sure that you do your research ahead of time and come prepared. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Usually, the schedule of events is posted on the event website well ahead of the event itself. Sometimes it also includes a map of the event site, and we highly recommend that attendees look over the information before arriving.
Yeah, if you want to be part of, like, I know Jesse loves to be part of the mega. I like just going, talking to people, and go caching. Jesse's the kind of girl who likes to do everything. If there's some mini event, Jesse wants part of it. Which sometimes I appease her with it, and sometimes I don't. Depends. But she's all in. Jesse's the kind of gal who's all in. But you have to have some serious preparation for that. You don't want to wait till the last second to find out everything that's going on at the mega, especially if you have to prepare for it. So that's kind of what the Be Informed tab is all about.
And I'm going to say you also want to make sure that you log your will attend, because oftentimes these megas, they got extra information coming out before the event. I mean, we've had several now from the Going Caching. We had a bunch from the Geo Woodstock. Every year we have a bunch from Geo Woodstock beforehand that lets you know what's coming up. Hey, are the shirts and clothing going to run out? And that type of thing. So it helps you be prepared.
Yeah,
or be informed.
If you log that will attend, you get added to that list of people. So if they send out an alert, you will get that alert. So it's kind of nice to log your will attend. Chad, do you want to take the next one?
So pre-order merchandise. So things like supporters packs and specific geocoins related to the event must be pre-ordered and then picked up on the day of the event. Or sometimes they have pre-events that you can pick them up at. So even geocoins that don't require a pre-order can be sold out when you actually get to the event. So it's worth pre-purchasing ahead of time if you really, really want something. And those tend to close at least a month ahead of the actual event. And that's also why you want to log that will attend, because they typically notify you a week or so ahead of that closure time to say, hey, if you're going to order something, you better get in here now or else you're not going to get in.
Right. As we talked about last week, I didn't order stuff for Midwest Geobash. They close theirs 2 months before the actual event.
Well, we might get some there. We'll see.
Yeah. Right. But we're not guaranteed to get either what we want or even anything at all.
Right. Correct. Yes. GPX files. I know it's kind of old school, but I think it's still relevant here. Once you have your targeted caches picked up, be sure to download a GPX file for your GPSR and save them to an offline list for your app. Then you never know what the cell signal might be like in the area.
Yes.
I know Jesse's done this a bunch of times. Jesse, many times is in the morning, we're ready to go, and she's like, "Hold it, I got to download. Hold on, I got to download a GPX file." Remember in Michigan that one time, Jess?
Right.
Everybody's waiting on you because you're downloading a GPX file.
Not only was I downloading the GPX file, but I also was downloading the local offline map.
Right.
Because if you're using if you have caches saved offline, but you don't have a signal and you can't get your live map to load, you know, you could maybe find them, but it's very helpful if you have an actual map.
Our lovely sponsor, Cashly, doesn't they make that a lot easier now where you can download
Yes.
the offline map?
And if you're using a tool like GSAC, remember to refresh all the puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would refresh all the caches in there. If you got the limit, you're still within the 10K or 6K limit, depending on whether you're going with the short or longer version of the download. I would make sure that at a minimum, anything that could have corrected coords online, you refresh all of those, so that way you've got that data in there, because the GPX file that you pull from geocaching.com does not have the corrected coordinates in there.
Right, they do not. Yes. Do me a favor, Chad. You take the next one because I want Jesse to take the one after that.
All right. Check the weather. Dress appropriately. The mega will go on, rain or shine. Nothing is worse than being ill prepared for inclement weather. Be sure you have enough water if it's excessively hot.
Yes. There's an old saying in geocaching. There is no bad weather, just poor. No, there's no poor weather, only poor clothing choices. That's all there is. Okay.
Knock on wood. I have not had any excessively bad weather mega events.
Mega? It's rain. I mean, we've had rain at megas.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had like a 2 or 3 hours of rain during the entire time, but I've never had like really torrential downpour. So
No.
even on ones where the weather report was saying, hey, it's going to be horrible, like the last Geo Woodstock, it was actually, other than the wind, it was awesome.
Right. I mean, I've been to like 8. I think, is it 8 or 9? No, 8 or 9. Cache bashes in West Bend, and I've had it be freezing there. I've had it be super hot. There. I've had torrential downpour there. I've seen like the full gambit of weather during that in all those years for that mega. I really have.
The most I've had is a couple hours of rain at my very first mega, and I think I'm up to 12 mega events, something like that, 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had I think I saw an hour in Cincinnati of rain, and I literally saw 2 swish swish with the wipers of rain in Dallas.
So yeah, basically, guys, just come prepared. I mean, get a raincoat, put it in your car. Get a, Jessie always has a pair of her rain boots in the trunk of her car. They're always
definitely be prepared.
Just know, I mean, you should anyway, just to be safe. But make sure you bring a hoodie, bring a heavy hoodie, because you don't know what the weather's gonna be. You never know. Nighttime it could be. You never know. Jesse, you take this next one, please.
Book your accommodations early. Many mega events are in areas that do not have a lot of accommodations close by. These locations tend to fill up quickly when a couple thousand cachers come to town, so book ahead of time. You can always cancel a reservation if you end up not going.
Wait, hold on. Stop there for a second.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Jessie is notorious for this, guys. Jessie's the planner, so she's the one who plans makes all the plans. She never makes hotel rooms early. She always waits to the last minute. Right,
I forget.
Go ahead. You're gonna say something. Go ahead.
I forget to make the hotel reservations because I'm so excited about the caching, and I'm planning.
We'll be in West Bend, and we're staying in 2 different hotels and 2 different nights because she waits to the last second to get a hotel room.
I'm hoping somebody will cancel, and we'll be able to get the one hotel for both nights. I'm hopeful.
We're hoping. Fingers crossed here. All right, go to the next one.
The proximity of the hotel will affect your plans for the day of the event, so keep that in mind as well.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you got a hotel a half an hour away, you got to remember you're in a hotel a half an hour away. So make sure you prepare for that, um, and plan accordingly, because that could change a lot of things. When you have a hotel that far away.
When you're caching from dusk till dawn or dawn till dusk, then it's not that big of a deal.
No, not at all. Not if you're not going back. No. All right, keep going.
But
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I would definitely pay attention to where you're placing it. I mean, I like to do, if we're doing a bunch of geo arts, I like to do it close to the geo art. So screw where the mega is. It's like do it where you're going to be caching. You'll make it down. You'll make that 30-40 minute drive down to the mega for that day. But
sure.
really put it around your plans.
If you're at the hotel and you got to get to the, you want to get to the picture or something like that, or some event there, you got to make sure you allocate enough time for something like that.
Definitely. Allocate more than enough time. You're always running late.
Yeah, parking kind of blows at mega events, guys. That should be.
And one more tip: if you're driving there, even if sometimes your hotel might be like on a border or near a border, always keep in mind there may be a time change. I am
notorious for that.
I am guilty of that every single year when I day trip out to Ohio to the Midwest Geobash. Every year I forget about the time change, and I end up like telling people I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, it's really noon or 1 in the afternoon, and I like miss half the day. I totally forget about it every year.
She does. But then you got to come back. You gain an hour coming back.
Right. Then I get an extra hour to stay there and cache, but
All right. So Jesse, finish up the last
okay. If you want to camp, check out the website of the mega event. Usually each mega has their own separate website outside of geocaching.com where you can buy merchandise and book your camping, etc. If you're camping, it's a good idea to research in advance the closest shops to buy food and supplies.
Now, I have never camped at a mega. Chad, have you ever camped at a mega?
I have never actually camped at a mega. I've camped at events, but not at a mega. Texas has 2 major events a year, but one of them doesn't get mega status, and so the Lone Star Challenge or the Lone, what was the name of it? The Lone Star something or other. That one doesn't get mega status, and I have camped at those. It's usually kind of like a day trip, and it's far enough away, but I only stay a day. So
the problem with camping is that you're kind of committed to that camping, and if the weather's crappy, I mean, because you're not going to find a hotel anywhere close to it. Yeah.
Right. Again, this wasn't a mega, so this is more like 150, 200.
Oh, okay, I'm talking about
people showing up. So, but yeah, for a mega, I've never camped at.
Right. I mean, I'll go camping, but like you go camping at a mega, you're all in because like it rains or something, or it's freezing or super hot. If it's 100 degrees at night, you're kind of screwed.
I'm usually 5 days to 7 days on a mega when I'm out there. There's no way in hell I'm doing 5 to 7 days of camping and caching.
Jesse, would you camp at a mega?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would.
I mean, we'd save a ton of money.
Right. Yeah, I would. One other thing I want to say about hotels is check the mega's website, because sometimes they may have negotiated with area hotels for a discounted rate. So if you stay at one of their suggested locations, you could save some money.
Nope.
One more thing to add to this in this day and age, you get a couple of caching buddies together, you get an Airbnb. You want to save a ton of money.
Yeah. I've tried to suggest that. I've gone and just Airbnb on my own, but I've also tried to suggest that, hey, let's get a house and Airbnb it, and everyone kind of out here kind of poo-poos on us. It's like no, we get a couple of rooms and we're all jammed into the hotel rooms and split the rates, and the pricing comes out similar. So it's, but I like Airbnb.
Mm,
That's just me.
fair enough. All right. When it comes to the mega, guys, it comes to the mega. When you finally get to the mega and you're having fun, sign the logbook. Not all events have logbooks, but all megas usually do. And usually they're pretty cool. And it's not just a normal simple book. It's a nice memento of
Hmm.
the day to get your name on the quote logbook.
Yeah, definitely some very interesting logbooks out there for different megas.
Oh yes, yes. What was the Geo Woodstock when we were at the Giga? Wasn't it the sign?
Hmm.
What it was, right?
Right. It's usually the sign.
Yeah.
It's usually the sign. They have had I think in North Carolina they had the VW Beetle that was out there be the logbook, but they also had a big sign by it that you can sign as well.
Hmm.
So, but I've seen the ape cache has usually got a guy in the ape suit walking around with a board on him that you sign. That one's always pretty fun.
Nice. Was that going ape?
That was going ape, yeah. So I've been to three of those, and every time it's been that guy in the ape suit. So I assume that's happens every time.
Fair enough. Chad, take the next one.
So be an active participant. Don't expect hand holding or that someone will actively show you exactly what to do or where to go. So take it upon yourself to get informed of the various things going on during the event and plan your time accordingly. If you are not sure what is going on, ask someone. Events typically have an information booth manned with volunteers with all the information you may need. So yeah, know what's going on. So the time schedules, they're not gonna be bugging you. Say, hey, we're gonna go do this. Hey, we're gonna go do that.
Right.
With the exception of possibly a group picture when you happen to see everyone going in that direction, that's about the only time you're really going to get informed. So, usually there's a set schedule for certain things, like when I don't know, say geocachers do a talk on stage. It's going to be there's going to be a schedule for that day that says when all these things are. If you want to be part of it, you need to pay attention to what that schedule is, and I set reminders in my phone to let me know ahead of time that hey, this is coming up, hey, that's coming up.
Right. If you actively want to take part in it, absolutely. And usually in the welcome packet is usually where you can also find overall all the information about what's going on for the week.
Yeah,
You get that welcome bag. Usually when you sign in, you get that welcome bag.
for
So
me personally, by the time I get that welcome bag, I am so busy. I don't have time to look at that, but that's me personally. So I have it all planned out
that's why
before I get there.
we go back to way be informed, to know what's
Right.
going on before you go. But if you don't, because some people don't, at least usually in that bag will have the information you need. Usually.
And not every person needs to be informed. You just need to make sure that a person in your group who's doing the organization is informed.
Jesse, take the next one, please.
Be flexible. Keep in mind that mega events are run by volunteers. If something does go wrong, instead of complaining about it and letting it ruin your day, just roll with the punches. It may also be a good time to pitch in and help out a fellow cashier in need.
Yeah, obviously we've all been to a bunch of megas, and we've seen some. I've seen some well-run megas. I've seen some not very well-run megas, but it's all. I can't. It's hard, when you're in a hurry or you're trying to do something. You know that they're all volunteers, and you try not to get frustrated. Because they're doing their best. It's not like they're not monkeying around when there's 5,000 people trying to get something done. So it's very hard, and can be very frustrating to
Hmm.
cut them some slack. But you try to. I mean, usually if you go to some are very well run. I mean, you go to, like, again, the Cash Bash. It's a well-oiled machine. I mean, it's usually you're not waiting for much of anything there. But Jess, what about you? Have you been to You've been to a bunch of megas.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to be flexible about, not only like, do you have to understand that the people putting this on are all volunteers and snafus happen, but also, keep your own schedule flexible and your own, itinerary, that maybe you have a bunch of caches planned out for the day and it ends up taking longer than you thought it would, or a brand new power trail comes out while you're there.
Yeah,
And,
happens. Yeah,
that happens to us all
sure.
the time, um, and also it's a mega event. So you're going to run into people, you're going to stand around and talk, and that always puts you behind schedule.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you just have to understand that even though you have an itinerary and you have things on your list, you have to play it by ear and you have to prioritize.
Right.
Chad, anything to add to that?
I would say about the only thing that I've really ran into big time issues is lunch, or the typical thing, or there's two typical things. There's lunch and pickup packets. So most of these places doing megas these days have a like a Thursday or Friday for option for pickup packets, so that it spreads it out and it makes things a lot better. I've been to a couple where they did it only on that Saturday, and it made things hell because everyone's trying to get their packet at the exact same time right on opening. They've wisened up to that, but food, it's not, I wouldn't say it's really their fault. It's really the vendor's fault in a way, not being able to process the amount of people that need to eat. So prepare for lunch to take 2 hours instead of 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next one is check out the trackable table. Yes. No, it's not a table with a 6-digit code somewhere on it. It's a table with an abundance of travel bugs and geocoins to be picked up and or discovered.
Hey, that table could have a 6-digit code on it.
Yeah, touche. If you've never been to a mega before, chances are you've never seen a ridiculously sized trackable. So it'll be a treat for the eyes. Take a moment to reflect on the poor committee members who no doubt will be stuck with this huge trackable at the end of the event. I've seen some big
Oh,
ones
yeah.
before.
The giant ball of yarn.
Yes, yes. Remember that one?
I literally brought a refrigerator door back from it was a block party, and because I knew the owner of the trackable, who lived literally across the freeway from my house in Houston, and I dropped it off on his front doorstep.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's just mean. Yeah, you always see one thing.
I got some stares at TSA.
Sadly, I mean, megas are where like trackables go to die. I've lost so many trackables at megas.
Mm-hmm.
So many trackables have, like, it was dipped into the mega. I'm like, oh, okay, bye. It was nice. It was nice seeing you, trackable. Nice having you, and it's never be seen again. I don't know where they go. They go to trackable heaven. Megas are trackable heaven. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, those are that. If you're a trackable hound, oh my God, megas are like a heaven because there is so many trackables on this table. It's pretty amazing.
I admit that I picked up trackables at megas before, and it fell down to the bottom of the bag and it didn't get pulled out again until the next mega.
It's where trackables go to die, man. I'm telling you, it's where they go to die. Yes, but there are a ton, and if you're a trackable person, and usually if you're really nice, you could swap lists with people too there as well. Jesse likes to do that.
Mm-hmm. I always have a list of all my trackables. I should probably update that before we go to these megas coming up.
Yeah, people bring lists, and you just grab the list, guys. If just pitching. Done.
Yeah, one of our patrons, the GBs, Gary, he collects all that stuff and gives it out to our group at the end, and it's like, okay, one single upload, done.
And if you're trying to maximize the number of trackables you discover, take a wander around the parking lot of the mega location. At least every second car is likely to have a travel bug in the window. This is so true.
Yeah.
You see this all the time.
This is
around. Also keep an eye out for people wearing a trackable shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Or even a tattoo, for that being said.
Mm-hmm.
Just be, and if you're guys, for the record, if you're walking around wearing a trackable shirt, be prepared. People are going to walk up to you and stare at your chest or your back, and
Yeah.
maybe even take a photo of your chest and or back, and then
And,
not even say anything to you.
and fair warning, if you got a shirt from an old event that has the GC code of the event, don't wear that shirt because you're just confusing the people because they're taking pictures like no, it's just a GC code. No.
Yes. So if you wear a trackable shirt, prepare for people to stare at you, man. Don't take it personally, and people take pictures of you. But yeah, it's usually where you see a lot of people with tattoos. Usually their tattoos will be blazing out, to make sure they have it uncovered so people can grab a picture of it as well. Um, so yeah, but the cars though, yeah, I mean a parking lot, it's pretty hysterical.
Oh yeah,
That,
you'll see dozens of people walking around, snapping pictures of all the cars.
every car in the parking lot has got one in the window. Yeah, and some multiple. I've seen, a lot of cars have multiple ones. They have one on the car, on the window, stuff like that.
Well,
So,
sometimes you put the code from like if you ride together with a bunch of people, you put everybody's code on the one car.
right, yes.
And
Yeah,
there
we've
have
done
even
that.
there's even been license plates that have had the license plate number trackable.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, yeah, doesn't GC make that? Doesn't they used to? I know you can get that made.
I've only seen people who have done personalized license plates. They got the the mobile trackable number, and they had to
Actually,
personalize.
Oh, really? No,
Yep.
see, when I've seen it, I mean, Illinois, you have to have two plates. You have to have the front and the front and back plates.
Hmm.
But a lot of states, you only need the back plate. You don't need the front plate in a lot of states. And so on those states, what people do is they get a plate designed for the front,
Mhm.
and have it be a GC code.
Yeah, and then with
Exactly.
those you can put the little four-legged spider on there.
Correct. Yes. There you go. Yes. Jesse, take the next one, please.
Food and parking. Understand how the parking and the food will work ahead of time so that you're prepared. Some megas are near urban centers and food and parking is plentiful and convenient, so lunch is just a quick trip to a local restaurant. Others are in rural areas far away from the closest restaurants. Sometimes these events require meal tickets purchased in advance to get food on site. And you are always welcome to bring your own food and drinks, of course. And always bring snacks and extra water.
Yes, and this is kind of what Chad was talking about before. Is that if the mega is feeding you, then be prepared to a lot of extra time.
Right.
And money.
And
Oh, no. Well, yeah, could be money. I know we've been to megas with food trucks.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the food trucks at megas because their service tends to be dog slow. It's not that that's bad food, but there I would make sure that I would look for, if they're only doing food trucks, I would make sure that there are at least restaurants in the area where you're willing to go or bring your own food.
Yes. Yeah. And
Because you don't want to all of a sudden realize, hang on, it's going to take me an hour and a half standing in line to try to get food from one of these three food trucks here.
Mm-hmm.
Right, especially when you can drive 15 minutes to the small town down the road and
Right.
get hit up a BK or a McDonald's or whatever. So.
No, watch, it's not going to be there this year, but for the past few years at the Midwest Geobash, there's always been a food truck there that makes homemade ice cream sandwiches.
Homemade ice cream sandwiches?
Yep. You get to pick what kind of cookie you want and what kind of ice cream you want. And they make you an ice cream. That line's never that long.
Really?
Yeah. But watch, they're not going to be there this year now that
it's going to be like
it.
$5 for an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah, something like that. It's worth it, though. They're good.
That sounds deliciously messy.
Yes, especially when it's really hot.
It's funny. Chad, I don't know if you have them where you are. We are. There's a toasty cheese, Jess? Is that what it is? Is that the name?
Toasty cheese, yeah.
Toasty cheese. Chad, there's
never heard of it.
It's a restaurant, but it's a restaurant only on wheels.
No, they actually do have one physical location. Mm-hmm. It's in Barrington, maybe?
why are we not going there all the time? Like, it's
Right?
that far away.
Because it's much more fun to get your food from a truck.
And so, Chad, and what they do is they rent out, the truck obviously to events and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
it's not mac and cheese, I'm lying. It's a grilled cheese sandwich, but it's fantastic. Fantastic grilled cheese sandwich.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Fantastic, Chad.
Haven't had one of those in a long time.
Gooey and delicious. And what makes it so good, Jess? What do you think?
I don't know.
It's delicious.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is delicious. So whenever I think food truck, I think of toasty cheese. Is what I think of. Chad, you're up next.
Yeah, so look for side events. Often the weekend of the mega is full of other events. Some are related to the main event, and some are just hosted by random other cachers. Look for the events to maximize your social time while at the event. Groundspeak is trying to do away with a lot of the side events,
Yeah,
and they put in some rules in place. I'm not sure exactly what the distance is, but I've seen some where people are putting them out further and further, but it makes it a pain in the butt to make it some of them. So I definitely prioritize the ones that are tied to that are immediately tied to the mega, but some of them aren't tied to the mega.
Oh yes, of course, yes.
So.
I remember. I think Jesse, when was your first Cash Bash? I think that was the last time there was a ton of side events for the Cash Bash. How long ago was it? 6 years ago you went there?
I have been to. This will be my 6th.
So 5 years ago.
Right.
So I mean, I used to go to the Cash Bash pre Jesse, and I would get. I mean, there would be 10 events.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be insane. I mean, every like 2 hours, it'd be another event, whether it be a CETO or it be an event or a dinner
And
or
flash mobs when
flash
they
mob.
used to have
When
like the
before,
15-minute flash mobs.
Right.
And I think Jesse's first time there. Remember, Jesse, we went to a bunch of events. The first
Yep.
time you were there, like just
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. I
Yeah.
think that was the last time. Like that's when I think they started cracking down on having events like all those side events at Megas. First time I heard about it, but yeah, now there's really not anything. I mean, they used to have a CETO at the end, all that
Mhm.
stuff.
Well, there's a lot of them still have a CETO at the end. So, but some of them are kind of doing away with that. I like to go to the CETO at the end, but not everyone does. So, I want that extra CETO icon.
Absolutely, everybody wants a CETO icon. It's just one more icon, especially if you're gonna cash that day. One more icon for the day, man. It's an easy one.
Yeah, and just come late and say, "Oh, no trash." No, so try to do a little CETO. If your conscience is getting to you, CETO while you're caching before the CETO.
Well, it seems like a no-brainer, especially where the mega was. They have a CETO afterwards that Sunday, at like maybe 11 o'clock after the
Mhm.
pancake breakfast that everybody has. After that breakfast, you have a CETO, and then you have people helping you clean up. It seems like a no-brainer to me.
Now, for the places where it isn't already well groomed. So, I mean, where the Geo Woodstock has been the last few years, it's already been really well groomed. So there wasn't really a need for a CETO afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Jesse, you take the next one. No,
Uh,
this is me. I'm sorry. This is mine. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Lab caches. Good old lab caches, guys. Lab caches are a weird type of geocache that counts towards your overall find count, but don't count in your stats on Project GC. For this reason, lots of people choose not to log them, as their stats will never properly line up with their find count and bug like people like Jesse absolutely crazy. People with the OCD people, they don't like that at all. Jesse, how are you okay with that? With your Project GC?
They do though. They do now.
If you're a paid member of Project GC,
Oh, that's why they do.
what will show up in your profile does include the lab caches.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know mine does. I didn't realize that was a paid feature. Yeah.
Groundspeak calls lab caches an air quote, experimental cache type, and what you'll find at a mega event is usually something that resembles every other cache you've found in absolutely no way at all. And especially now with the adventure labs too. My advice would be to do the lab caches. They're usually pretty creative. They're actually very, very creative. I love doing
Mhm.
caches. We always try to make it a priority to do lab caches when we're at a mega event. And I can't wait to try out the adventure labs
Yeah.
app. I'm looking forward to that because I have not tried it out yet. So, Chad, you've used it, correct?
Yeah, I've used it. The like I said, the app is pretty good, but I think they need to provide GPX files for, especially when they have more than one set of labs.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Jesse, keep going.
Bring some cash, but set yourself a budget.
Yes. Very
The
important.
app, yeah, the app opportunity to walk into a store and buy geocaching goodies only exists in a very few locations worldwide. But when you hit a mega event, you'll have stall after stall of caching wares right in front of your eyes. So set yourself a budget so that you don't go too crazy and spend next month's paycheck on sneaky hides and travel bugs or coins.
Yes. It is very easy to spend a ton of money at
Mhm.
mega.
Do you follow a budget when you do that, Jesse?
No.
Oh,
No, and then she goes, I can't believe how much money we spent this weekend as we're
Oh
trying
yeah.
to
how much money we
I
spent?
can't believe how much money we spent. Yeah. Because for us it's like a vacation, and
Yeah.
usually the rule on vacation is you don't. We try not to pinch pennies on vacation. We try and just if you want something, you get it, kind of a thing. In
Mhm.
obviously in reason,
Within reason.
in reason, obviously. But I'm not going to deny Jesse a $15 T-shirt if she wants a T-shirt.
Right.
Kind of a thing. Or a coin for that matter.
Yeah.
So it's
Mhm.
one of those things. It's like, yeah, I get it. If you
Yeah.
want to get it, how we say it,
Especially if it's a souvenir, like like I always get the coins whenever we go up to West Bend. So it's fun to see all of them lined up next to each other and add to it every year.
right.
Yep.
So yeah, but you can go crazy. If
Oh, it's very easy to do.
to spend a lot of money there. It's really, especially if there's a ton of vendors. Oh yeah, it's very easy.
Mhm.
There's been so many times where I've just had to turn around and walk away, or else it's like I'm going to be out of cash.
So you don't have to
Mhm.
set yourself a budget, but maybe just know how much you want to spend there. Like go there saying, okay, if I'm going to go to the vendor, I'm not going to spend more than $50 at the vendor.
Yeah, that's usually about what I plan to spend beyond my package already, as far as vendors at the mega.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yes. So that's set yourself, be careful. And
Mhm.
what I always recommend is you know, I wouldn't bring a ton of cash just because it's cash. So I wouldn't recommend, bringing a ton of cash. I mean, personally, I would recommend using credit cards usually than cash because
Yeah, credit cards when you can, but you're out in typically territories that you don't know. So having that extra cash on hand in case you need to spend cash
well, yeah, I just
is
wouldn't
good.
bring like $500 in cash for the weekend, kind of a thing.
What, you don't do that?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'll bring a little cash. Just usually take like $100 out, a couple $100 out maybe,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and like that's our cash for for it. But like,
I don't know. If I had $500 in cash in my wallet, I would feel nervous.
right, that's what I'm saying is that like I wouldn't want to walk around with that, especially in the woods, and when you have 1,000 people basically, stacked up against each other. I mean, it gets pretty crowded in there. Hey man, things happen. So
So if you're a pickpocket and you're coming to was it the what bash the
Midwest Geobash.
the Midwest Geocache,
no, I won't have any.
look for Scott.
No, look for Jesse. I don't think Jesse.
Look for
Jesse
Jesse.
carries the money. Jesse carries the money.
Okay.
Not not that much. And one other thing I'll say about the vendors there is it's nice to be able to actually touch and feel the items that you probably would end up buying anyway, number one. And number two, a lot of vendors may charge you shipping if you only want a couple of things. And so a mega event is a nice opportunity to just pick up a couple of nanos here or there, some preforms if you just want a few,
Right.
and save on that shipping charge.
And
And
also, it's cool,
sometimes they got sale items. Ooh.
Yes.
it's cool to see them too, just to see like
Oh yeah.
these stores that you've heard of forever on podcasts and stuff like that. to actually see the store or see a version of the store. You know,
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they have vendors there that aren't necessarily even caching related, which is always interesting to see how they tie in. You
Yeah.
know, like you wouldn't think, oh, I can't remember who it was. There was a vendor a couple years ago at one of the megas. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And then the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. But now I can't remember what it was. But you know, there will be other vendors there that would be of interest to geocachers.
sure. And
Yeah, I've seen like local area forest parks and services and those type of things show up at them, which is good to get you an idea of what parks are around and what amenities the parks have and that kind of stuff.
hmm and some make sure I can't remember which vendor it was actually doing T-shirts on site. Remember that, Jess?
Oh yeah, right.
They were.
They were special
Red Hat.
personalizing.
Yeah, I can't remember who they
That's
were.
probably Red Hat.
Oh, it might have been Red Hat. You're right. It might have been Red Hat. Yes.
They personalized the T-shirt for me. So
Yes. I got a West Bend shirt. They did a West Bend one for me. Was it last year? 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah. So there you go, guys. There is the mega month survival guide.
I have one other thing that I want to
please.
add in that we didn't even talk about. And that is, in part of your planning, make sure that you're planning out the other caches in the area or on the way to, on the way home. Make sure you're looking for the oldies to fill your Jasmer, or for something for your Fizzy if you're working on that, or make sure you're looking for the webcams, the virtuals, anything else. Are there highly favorited caches in the area? Solve the puzzles, check the challenges. Remember, you're not just going to the mega, or maybe you are. Maybe you just want to go to the mega, and that's fine. But take advantage of being in an area that you may not otherwise be in, and go crazy.
Yep.
Find that elusive 4.5, 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and get it off of it. So yes, also, and we can talk post mega here. I mean, obviously, logging your finds and or trackables. Make sure you clean out your bag, Chad. Clean out your caching bag and make sure you get all the trackables that are at the bottom of it. And put your pictures online, guys. Make sure you do that. Take pictures. That's another thing too. That's not on this list. Take pictures because
Yep.
they're a lot of fun. Megas are a lot of fun. I always enjoy going to megas. And seeing friends, and especially friends from. I love seeing friends who are out of state, who I don't see very often.
Yeah,
that's always nice to see. So I'm looking forward to seeing friends that I haven't seen in a year. So that's one of the things about it too that I really like. Anything else to add?
Now I'm going through all my pictures. I was trying to find a picture of, because we were talking about unusual logs at megas, and I was trying to find a picture. I know I took a picture of a few years ago. The theme must have been like superheroes or something like that at the Midwest Geobash, and the log was a giant cardboard phone booth. And it was really cool. So I know you could actually open it up and walk inside and sign the inside if you wanted. And I know I took a picture of it, but now I can't find it. But that was a neat.
Look up phone booth.
It was a huge, giant stand-up phone booth with the door that opened and everything.
All right, go in your Google Photos and look up phone booth.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to do. I don't see it.
Look up cardboard.
I don't know if Google's that smart. Probably is.
Google is very smart.
Yes, I know.
They own you and me and Chad. Okay, so yeah, guys, there you go. There's mega survival guide, guys, on a Tuesday night. So sorry it's a Tuesday night, guys. I promised last time this is going to be a Tuesday night. We're back next week on Wednesday. Back to the old time, back to the old day. Continuing on with Mega Month. Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Next Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
We have got your buddies from Going Caching on.
Andy and Jim.
You want to tell us who it's going to be? Tell us who it's going to be.
It's going to be Andy and Jim from Going Caching.
Going Caching. Out of
Rome, Georgia.
Rome, Georgia. That's where it is. And Chad has his card. You've got your playing card all set, don't you, Chad?
Yeah, it's in the other room, but hey. So I'm a pirate gun. Arg.
Right. And when is that's in October, correct?
Yep, it's October. So I'm going to be out there October 1st through the 7th. I'd have to actually look at a calendar to see which day is Saturday.
October 7th. All right. So, guys, next week we're talking to the Going Caching guys. What's their names, Chad? Remind me once again.
Andy and Jim.
Andy and Jim. I got to put that in the show notes. Andy and Jim next week about the Going Caching mega event.
That's Andy with an I.
Andy with an I. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So, the guys, that's next week. Continuing mega month. All month long of July. Guys, thank you so much for the Tuesday night, everybody who's in the chat room, everybody who's watching us live. We're sorry that it's a Tuesday night. Last week, I swear to God, next week, and from then on for the rest of the year, Wednesday night, 8:30 Chicago time. So, Chad, thank you so much, sir. Always a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse, thank you so much.
Sure.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, my dear. And let's close the show. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Please join us again next week as we take your calls live every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, right here at the Geocaching Podcast. The archived video versions of our podcasts are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available on most of your favorite podcatchers. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple iTunes and rate, review, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, please subscribe to the show on YouTube, and don't forget, click that little bell when you subscribe to get notified when we go live. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for updates on upcoming shows and general geocaching information. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. With tiers starting as low as $3, you'll get a ton of additional information, extra videos, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cachly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Outs Body Company, and Practical Geocaching. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking those phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones. We will talk to you guys next week. We are clear. There you go. Chad, somebody says you probably have some of Scotty's trackables in there. Probably in your bag, Chad.
You didn't go to Geo Woodstock this year, so it can't be. I cleaned out my bag since then.
I went last year. I went. You were at a baseball game while I was there.
Yeah.
When I was there, you were at a baseball game. Yeah.
And the Red Sox won. I saw my first in-person Grand Slam.
You're kidding?
Nice.
I don't think I've ever seen a Grand Slam. Not in person. No. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much, guys. We'll be back the same bat time, same bat channel next week.
Normal bat time, normal bat channel.
Normal bat channel. Thank you. Yeah, sorry about this, guys. Baseball's screwing everything up. But you know what? It's over this week. It's all done for the year. All done for the year. So we will talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys.